These wintry woods may feel empty and abandoned, but there's a legend afoot here, one that's endured for more than a century.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down enigmatic people from the past whose identities remain mysterious or unknown. For this list, we focused on more obscure or lesser-known figures, so some of the more obvious names will not be covered here.
The tradition dates back to the 1940s when a dark, mysterious figure would lay 3 roses and a bottle of cognac on Poe's grave on his birthday.
Number 10. The Summerton Man. A man was found dead on Summerton Beach near Adelaide, South Australia in December 1948.
One of the intriguing things about the case is that all the clothes the man was wearing had the labels removed off them.
Clad in a suit and lacking identification, the man's belongings included a scrap of paper with the words Tamam Shud, meaning ended or finished in Persian, torn from a rare book of poetry.
A man came forward to say that he had found a copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, and it did have the last page torn out. So he handed it in to police. He said it had been thrown into the backseat of his car 6 months earlier.
Even with exhaustive investigations, his cause of death and reasons for his presence at the beach remain unsettled. The case is renowned for its unbreakable codes, speculated espionage, and theories of unrequited love. The Summerton Man has been one of Australia's most profound mysteries, capturing the intrigue of amateur sleuths and professional detectives alike. In 2022, the case was claimed to be cracked, but this has not yet been 100% confirmed.
We've actually got a name, and it was a surreal moment. It took a long while to sink in that it's not the Summerton Man story now. This is the Charles Webb story.
Number 9. Satoshi Nakamoto. This pseudonym was used by the enigmatic person or group of people who created Bitcoin, the first cryptocurrency. In 2008, Nakamoto published the Bitcoin white paper, which laid the foundation for a decentralized digital currency free from government or institutional control.
Calling it a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. At this point, Bitcoin was just an idea on paper.
In 2009, Nakamoto released the first Bitcoin software, mined the Genesis block, and began interacting with early developers and adopters via email and forums. Notwithstanding their foundational role in the cryptocurrency revolution, Nakamoto's true name has never been proven.
And in all that time, nobody, not even close collaborators, ever met the founder in person.
In 2010, Nakamoto handed over control of the Bitcoin code repository and disappeared from public engagement, leaving behind a legacy that has changed the financial world while maintaining complete anonymity.
There is strong evidence pointing to certain people who may be Satoshi Nakamoto, but ultimately nothing definitively conclusive.
Number 8. The Circleville Letter Writer.
It's a place that rarely attracted outside attention. But then, frightening letters started to arrive.
Someone was responsible for sending a series of harassing and threatening letters to residents of Circleville, Ohio, starting in the late 1970s. These letters, which spanned over a decade, contained personal information and accusations, causing widespread fear and speculation within the community.
I know where you live. I've been observing your house and know you have children. This is no joke. Please take it serious.
The most notorious case involves school bus driver Mary Gillespie, accused of an affair, leading to a tragic chain of events, including her husband's death under mysterious circumstances.
Was Ron Gillespie's death an accident? Was he really drunk that night? And why had one bullet been fired from his handgun?
Despite attempts to pinpoint the perpetrator, including the arrest and conviction of a suspect who was later partially exonerated, the letter writer remains unknown. This person's motivations and how they obtained such intimate knowledge of the townspeople's lives are still subjects of intrigue and speculation. Number 7. The Voyage manuscript author.
Dive into the past with a book that's one of the world's greatest unsolved mysteries.
This famed manuscript, filled with unknown symbols and illustrations, has puzzled scholars, cryptographers, and historians since its discovery. The identity of its author remains one of the most intriguing enigmas in the history of literature and cryptography. Dating back to the 15th century, the manuscript contains hundreds of pages of an unidentified script, alongside illustrations of imaginary plants, astronomical charts, and human figures in seemingly ritualistic activities. Despite extensive analysis, the language has not been deciphered, leading to theories ranging from an elaborate hoax to a lost natural language or an encrypted alchemical text.
In many books written in the Middle Ages or the early Renaissance, there's the author's fear of running foul of the authorities. That's why the books are partially written in a secret code. That's why some people suspect that the Voyage manuscript must be as well.
The authorship of the Voyage manuscript is equally mysterious, with speculation about its creator ranging from medieval scholars to Italian polymath Leonardo da Vinci to, well, aliens.
When you touch the original, it awakens so many emotions and questions. You want to know who touched it, who could have made something like this.
Number 6. The Monster of Florence. Il Mostro di Firenze is the moniker for the serial killer responsible for the murder of several couples in the countryside around Florence, Italy between 1968 and 1985.
There was great terror, great fear.
Over 2 decades, 7 helpless couples are stalked by a deranged and perverted killer.
The killer's modus operandi involved targeting young couples in secluded areas at night, where they would be shot to death, and in many cases, the female victims were subjected to post-mortem mutilations.
We were perplexed by the fury of the attack.
The case became one of Italy's most notorious and perplexing unsolved cases, leading to numerous investigations, trials, and theories over the years. Despite the arrest and conviction of several individuals, none was conclusively proven to be the monster, and the true identity of the killer or killers remains unsolved. The Monster of Florence's story has inspired books and films, and continues to fascinate.
I don't think we will ever know who the Monster of Florence was.
Number 5. The Count of Saint-Germain.
Word quickly got around about this strange man who could speak every language, compose music, and who spoke of history as if he lived it.
This purported aristocrat was known across European high society in the 18th century for his wealth, extensive knowledge, and purported ability to speak numerous languages fluently. Details of his origins and early life remain largely unknown, with speculation suggesting he could be the son of a Transylvanian prince. Saint-Germain was celebrated for his talents in alchemy, music, and painting, and he was rumored to have discovered the secret to eternal youth, as he appeared to age very little over several decades. His acquaintances included royalty and prominent figures of the time, who were often baffled by his detailed anecdotes from historical events centuries past. The Count's death was recorded in 1784, though sightings of him continued well into the 19th century.
Some say he walked the earth during the time of Christ. Some say he walks the earth still.
Number 4. The Leatherman.
These wintry woods may feel empty and abandoned, but there's a legend afoot here, one that's endured for more than a century.
This real-life 19th century legend was renowned for his periodic wanderings through Connecticut and New York. Dressed entirely in a suit made of leather patches, the Leatherman was a vagabond who followed a precise 365-mile loop between the Hudson and Connecticut rivers, a journey he would complete every 34 days.
Could you imagine just walking that amount of mileage, but then doing it with that 60 pounds of gear, of all that leather that he accumulated?
He lived off the land and the generosity of the communities he passed through, communicating minimally and never revealing personal details. The Leatherman was a figure of intrigue and compassion, with people often awaiting his visits with food and goods to offer. After his death in a cave in 1889, there have been claims made about his identity, but it is still disputed, and the reasons for his lifestyle remain elusive.
There was an obituary published in the local newspaper, and hundreds of people came from the surrounding area to pay their respects.
Number 3. Canelli. The pseudonymous Canelli was reputed to be an alchemist of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, but whose true identity has never been conclusively revealed. He's credited with profound writings on alchemy and the esoteric interpretation of medieval cathedrals as complex symbolic works. Legend has it that Canelli achieved the great work of alchemy, the transmutation of base metals into gold, and perhaps even discovered the secret of immortality. Several individuals have been speculated to be Canelli, but none has been verified. His disappearance in the mid-20th century only deepened the enigma, with rumors of him appearing years later, looking no older. Number 2. Jerome of Sandy Cove. In 1863, a young man was discovered on the shores of Sandy Cove, Nova Scotia, unable to speak and with both legs amputated above the knees. He provided no account of his origins or how he came to be in such a condition, only uttering the name Jerome, by which he was thereafter known. The local community, intrigued and sympathetic, cared for him for the rest of his life, which lasted more than 4 decades following his discovery. Speculation abounded regarding Jerome's background, with theories suggesting he was a sailor who suffered frostbite or a victim of foul play, perhaps even punished for some crime or mutiny. However, Jerome's own unwillingness or inability to communicate about his past left these questions unanswered. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Poe Toaster.
An eccentric tribute to Baltimore's most famous poet.
This nickname has been given to the figure or figures who, over decades, paid an annual tribute to Edgar Allan Poe. The tradition started in the 1930s or 1940s, with the toaster visiting Poe's original grave in Baltimore, Maryland, every year on the anniversary of the poet's birth. The shadowy visitor would leave 3 roses and a half-filled bottle of cognac before vanishing into the night.
And off he goes. The bottle and the roses left behind, parting tune, then back into the Baltimore night. A ritual this crowd will remember forevermore.
Witnesses describe the toaster as a man dressed in black with a wide-brimmed hat and white scarf. The original Poe Toaster's eerie visits ceased in 2009, and while there have been imitators since, the intrigue surrounding the motivations of the original visitor endures.
Roses, cognac, speaking to the Poes in Latin as a tribute, you gotta love it.
What other mysteries could have made this list? Let us know in the comments.
Let me tell you, we can't remember the political elites, the big businessmen of the late 19th century. We've forgotten their names, but we remember the Leatherman.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.